we're not going to hear a lot about hardware today. We don't expect to hear the release date for Series X. We don't expect to hear about pricing. It really is going to be a showcase all about games and focused a lot more on their first-party studios, meaning games that are coming exclusively to the Xbox ecosystem, which of course includes Game Pass and PC and even xCloud. There's a lot to talk about, kind of what Xbox is doing with gaming and their approach. So we've got some world premieres for you, and we've got a lot of guests. So let's get ready for the countdown here. 58 minutes away from the show. Before we get to our first world premiere, though, I want to welcome some panelists to talk about what we're expecting today from Xbox. So first up, joining me is my good buddy, Jack Septiceye. Jack, welcome to the show.
Hi, it's good to be here. Right. Thankfully, it's a reasonable hour.
Early in the morning in Los Angeles. We've also got Lauren Side here. Lauren, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Good to see you as well. And finally, we've got a guy who got to go up to Microsoft and check out the Xbox Series X hardware before lockdown. Austin Evans. Austin, good to have you with us, man.
Hey, Jeff. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, great to have all you guys here. So let's kick things off here by talking about what you want to see from Xbox today. They had an event back in May that people wanted to see even more from. They wanted to see, more gameplay, more games. They wanted to see Halo. They're going to deliver that today. What are your expectations as fans of games? What do you want to see at the top of the hour from Xbox? Let's start with you, Jack.
Well, I mean, the big elephant in the room, the big chief elephant in the room is everyone just wants to see Halo Infinite. And I'm really curious because I'm not the biggest Halo fan, but even this one has kind of gotten me intrigued and excited. So I'm curious to see about that. I want to see more Hellblade 2 if we're going to get some of that, because when we saw that trailer at the Game Awards and we were sitting in that theater and that music kicked in and rocked everyone's socks, I was really impressed with that and seeing what the hardware could kind of do in engine there. I'm a sucker for FromSoft games. My heart's going to be broken when we don't see Elden Ring today, but it's been so long since it was announced. I need to see it somewhere and see that it still exists. And as long as I get a good world premiere, I'll be happy.
Oh, wait. We got the world premiere voice guy actually doing the voice here when we come to our first world premiere.
Oh, my God.
So
it's Christmas.
I'm here to take care of you. But yes, as you said, everyone would love to see Elden Ring. Everyone would love to see new game announcements too. You mentioned Halo. Lauren, is that the big thing for you? Like seeing Halo, what are you excited to see?
No. So I feel like Halo was like my first introduction into like first person shooter games and why I should not play them because I'm horrible at them. But that was like my first, it holds a special place in my heart because like that was the first time realizing I was terrible at them. I'm really excited. I'm big into like psychological horror games. So the medium, I really, really want to see more about. I want to see gameplay. They haven't told us a whole lot about it, but I'm living for it, like the Silent Hill music, everything. And Everwild is the other one I'm really interested for, like to see more about, because both of those are kind of a mystery. I haven't seen much on them.
Oh, that's great, because as you said, there are lots of other games across the studios. Everwild that they teased last year at Exo from Rare looked really interesting. I agree. Hopefully we'll get to see something on that. Tim Schafer's got Psychonauts that, they acquired that studio. Hopefully there'll be an update on that one. And they said Microsoft's got so many studios, so many games across the portfolio that I think we'll get hopefully some new game announcements and also some updates on those existing ones. Austin, you are one of the few people I think in the world that got to check out Series X. I remember you did you got to check out Gears, how that was looking on the hardware and everything like that. So you have a really interesting perspective on this. What do you want to see at Xbox today?
So, I mean, I love the nerdy details, right? I want to see the 120 FPS and the HDR and all the ray tracing. I'm really interested in seeing kind of like what this next generation is able to do as far as pushing the envelope forward, right? I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I'm going to be all over Halo. I really want to see what they're able to do, especially considering that that's going to be a game that will be on Xbox One and sort of assuming PC and Series X, and kind of seeing how they're able to stretch that. And I'm definitely a huge fan of the Forza franchise, right? I mean, that's sort of been really, you look back at the Xbox One generation for me, I have definitely spent more time playing for the Forza games as well as the Horizon games more than anything else, right? So that's definitely has like a special place in my heart from the gaming side. But what I'm really curious about is getting a really good look at kind of what this new slate of titles look like, right? I mean, obviously we know that there are a bunch of games that are coming out sort of holiday season. I'm assuming we're probably going to see some games kind of teased for the next maybe year or two or whatever the case is. But I really want to see a good sense of what the Xbox Series X is capable of, right? I've seen little bits and pieces. I got to try a couple of tech demos. I know the specs. I know all the kind of the basic stuff. But what I really want to do is kind of see how all of that comes together and brings what this next generation is all about.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. It's, they keep saying how powerful this console is. Like, we want to see that power, right? And see what this is able to do. And Microsoft's philosophy on Xbox that Phil Spencer has expressed is, a little bit different than PlayStation. They're saying that all these games are going to show you today conceivably will still work on your current Xbox, will work on PC, and they might, they work better on the new Xbox. But I'm curious for you guys, how does that affect your sort of decision on what you're going to do with Xbox? Like, what's going to cause you to want to upgrade to the next system? Because it's different. That, Halo, as you said, will work probably on, if you have an Xbox right now, it'll work on the current system. So I assume part of what they have to show today is why it's going to be even better on the next one.
Yeah,
I
think for
definitely what I expect.
Yeah, I think for me, what I like most about the Xbox that kind of sits in my house is, like, we always get Sony with their exclusives, and I would love to see some really cool exclusives come out of Microsoft today. It's the thing that people keep talking about all the time. But I love the kind of home entertainment aspect of my Xbox. I love the kind of UI and the speed of the system, and kind of sitting down. I use it for everything. I only use my PlayStation for gaming, but I really use my Xbox for almost everything. I watch Netflix on it. I watch movies, and I play my 4K Blu-rays and everything on it, because my PlayStation couldn't do that. So I'm really curious to see how they evolve kind of the OS of the system and make it snappier and faster, and how you're able to switch between games on the fly, and being able to have all of those old games be playable on the new one. They keep talking about backwards compatibility a lot, and how that's a big factor for them. And I'm curious to see how far that goes, and how many games you can really play with that, and how far they're pushing it. And stuff like Game Pass has come out, and it's kind of a game changer, because there's so many times when I just go on and I don't want to buy a new game, but Game Pass is a good way of kind of trying it out and testing it, and just downloading it there and playing straight away. And I really love that aspect. So I want to see how far they push that. And xCloud, I think, is what their trump card will be this time, at least for me personally, the way I consume the media on my Xbox.
Yeah, no, I think that, as you said, the Game Pass is another big part of it. That, a lot of these games now come out as part of Game Pass. I think Microsoft has said kind of all their first-party titles are in Game Pass, and that, I think, lets people sample more games. Right? It's no longer like you have to spend $60 to play everything. Austin, I wanted to ask you about the specs and the frame rates and all that type of stuff. You live in the world of tech and RDNA architectures and whatnot. Like, what do you think? What does that all mean to the gamers? Like, how do you think the games are going to be different, or what are the things we should look for here in ray tracing and things like that? Like, what do you think are going to be some of the big leaps that we're going to see in some of these games, hopefully today?
So I think the interesting way of looking at sort of the previous generation, sort of Xbox One, PS4, going into this new generation, is that it's a much more well-rounded package, right? So you look at something like the Xbox Series X, spec-wise, it is equivalent to a very high-end gaming PC. That's not something we've seen in the console space for a long time, right? You look at the Xbox One, it had good graphics, right? It was able to provide some really impressive games. You look at something like Red Dead 2 running on an original Xbox One. It's really impressive that that was able to be sort of accomplished. But the thing is, this generation with the Series X, we have not only the SSD, which I think people are going to very quickly get used to, not minute load times, but a few second load times. But also you have that really powerful CPU, which is going to enable these bigger open worlds, sort of more interesting looking physics. And then you have on the graphics side, not only sort of more detailed things. And I think the higher frame rates are something that, especially as more and more TVs are developing that sort of tech, that people are going to really start to appreciate. But also these new features like ray tracing, right? Which are just going to help ground these worlds in a much more sort of realistic sort of location. Like, I guess for me, it's more about making the console a much more complete package, right? You're not sort of sacrificing because you're on your PC versus your Xbox or anything. Like, you're going to be getting a very similar level of performance. And in a lot of cases, something like the Series X is going to be significantly more powerful than any other gaming device in your home.
Yep. All right. Well, hopefully we're going to get to see some of that. Lauren, you get the last word here. Anything you're hoping is a surprise today? You talked about some of the games we know about, like the Medium and Everwild. Anything that you're secretly hoping they show here in some way?
I was looking yesterday to see if there was anything I could think of that like they could surprise me with. I've personally been more of like PC gamer, PlayStation. So if they can surprise me and pull me in with more like Xbox exclusives, I mean, Game Pass has been a game changer for me. I've been using that a lot lately. So just like bringing me into that ecosystem, if they can do that, like then they've surprised me. So
no, and that's part of what they're trying to do here is you said, you can play all this stuff on your PC, you can play, on your phone via xCloud, and like, bringing more games to more people. So as you said, hopefully we'll see a bunch of games today, right? And we know Halo is going to be a big focus, but obviously they've got a lot of other things to fill out that hour. All right. Well, thanks, Lauren, Austin, and Jack. We will see you guys later. We'll all be watching live. And we do have some special world premieres throughout this show. We've got a number. I think we've got over, a half dozen things we're going to show you guys over the next 45 minutes here to give you a little preview of some stuff that will be coming to Xbox. And we're going to start right now with this world premiere announcement. Check it out.
World premiere.
You're the reincarnation of the Luminary.
Know this. The Luminary is the root of all evil and will bring naught but misery to our realm.
A hero will surely arise to take the sword in hand once more.
$1986年に日本で第一作目となるドローンクエストというロールプレイングゲームを発売して今年で34周年を迎えました。今回シリーズ本編最新作のドローンクエスト 11S が Xbox プラットフォームで発売され、さらにゲームパスにも登場します。なんと Xbox にドローンクエストが初登場ということで僕も大変嬉しく思います。今日は皆さんにドローンクエスト 11S の魅力を紹介していきたいと思います。ドローンクエストでは自分自身が主人公になって魅力あふれる仲間と共に世界を救う壮大な冒険の旅に出ます。冒険の舞台はロテゼタシアというさまざまな地形がある広大な世界です。街は武器を買ったりクエストを受けたりできる冒険の拠点です。重要な話も聞けるでしょう。モンスターとのバトルでは戦士や魔法使い、盗賊、武闘家などキャラクターの特性を生かした戦術で戦います。出現するモンスターも可愛いものから恐ろしいものまで多くのモンスターがいます。今戦闘しているスライムは1作目から登場している人気者なんですよ。その他にも昔懐かしい 2D モードや過去のシリーズの作品の世界を体験できるサブクエストなどのやり込む要素も満載です。いよいよ Xbox プラットフォームに登場する日本の RPG の音ドローンクエスト 11S をお楽しみください。発売は2020年12月4日です。それではまた。
There you go, Dragon Quest coming for the first time to Xbox. And now we're going to get right into another world premiere. This is a brand new game announcement, a smaller team and studio that has a new title to announce today on the pre-show. So take a look at this. All right, that's ExoMecca, a brand new free-to-play game coming in late 2021, and that's a first look at that. We do have more new games and some cool stuff. We've got something very cool to wrap up the pre-show as our last premiere that I'm really excited to share with you guys. So stick around. And of course, at the top of the hour, we're going to get a look at a lot of the first-party games from Microsoft, including the world gameplay debut of Halo Infinite. Right now, though, we're going to turn to our second panel to preview what we're hoping, all our hopes and dreams for Xbox today. Joining me first off is Aaron Hansen from the Game Grumps. Aaron, you ready for blanks?
Oh, dude, you're way ahead of me, brother. I was all blinked up, and you just brought the heat, man.
You've been waiting all summer for this moment. Will the time sweeper return? All right, good to have you with us, Aaron. We got Danny O'Dwyer from No Clip. Hey, Danny, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing, man? I'm just really happy for Aaron to get his blinks. He's been waiting for was it a month since we talked on PlayStation? Forget all these new studios and all these new games that all their acquisitions are going to do. It's all about the blinks.
Bring back the time sweeper, right? That's clearly the closer of the show, right? You must know something. And finally, we've got Alana Pierce joining us. Hey, Alana.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. All right, you're all chipper. We're ready to go. This is Xbox Day. Going to be hopefully some excitement for all of us with what Xbox has in store. So we joked about blinks, but Xbox has a lot of franchises, a lot of history in gaming over the past 20 years. I'm going to open with the same question I had for the last panel. What are your hopes? What are your expectations? What do you want to see from Xbox in this next hour that's going to, convince you that they've got a lot of great stuff and, charting the future of gaming? Aaron, let's take blinks off the table. Beyond that, what else can they do for you today?
Well, if I'm gonna be honest, man, I want to know what the heck's going on with ExoMecca, because that, I was not expecting something like that, and holy
That's
crap,
a Transformer action.
That appealed to my 80s, early 90s culture mind. I was just like, it's just big silver robots punching each other, and there's a robot dragon, I guess, that breathes fire. Great, I'm in. Let's do it.
All right, so ExoMecca clearly at the top of the pile. They've already won you over, Danny. You visit a lot of studios around the world when we can. Hear about them. Hear their stories. No Clip, you do some incredible documentaries. From your perspective, what does Xbox have to do today? What do you want to see in this hour showcase?
Well, we've had Microsoft, doing a lot of acquisitions over the past couple of years, and a lot of studios that were sort of working on games, perhaps, or working on smaller games for them. So I think what I'm excited for today is for a bunch of those studios to maybe show something off. So one studio we visited earlier this year was Obsidian, who were working on Grounded. They've been acquired by Microsoft in the interim, or just prior to that. So I'm interested to see if we'll see what everyone hopes, which is a big budget Obsidian role-playing game. That's kind of on my top list of things I'd like to see. And then the other one is what's happened to Fable. Obviously, in the past couple of, Lionhead isn't around anymore. There's a lot of rumor that Playground, who work on the Forza series, may have sort of taken up the mantle on that. It's been rumored that they've been working on some sort of open world role-playing game as well. So those are kind of the two that I'm looking to see. And just anything else from the rest of their acquisitions, like Double Fine. I'm sure they're a small team, so I'm sure they're not running multiple projects, but you never know. Maybe they're an early concept phase on something.
No, I think RPGs is a great genre, right? Where it's like Xbox has done lots of action games, but doing RPG stuff, I think, is an opportunity for them to show some great stuff in the RPG genre. Alana, what's I know you've been fan of Gears. You've been fans of you're excited about Cyberpunk that's coming out. That obviously will be on all systems, but on Xbox as well. What do you want to see from Team Xbox this morning?
Also blinks. No, I'm kidding. I love Fable. I really want a new Fable. Like Danny said, it's rumored that Playground Games are working on it, and I buy that rumor. They hired a lot of people from a lot of studios known for making really big games, including Rockstar and Guerrilla. So I really, really, really want to see Fable. I love that world, and I feel like there's something so pleasant about a British RPG, like the humor captured in the original Fable game. I just love so much, and obviously Peter Molyneux would no longer be attached, so that changes things, but that's what I really, really want. Also really obviously excited to see more Halo. I'm very curious to see if any of the Perfect Dark rumors hold up, because I also love Perfect Dark. But to get away from games hype, I really want to know more about xCloud. I'm kind of hoping that we hear a little bit about xCloud and what they're planning to do with that in the future after that Game Pass announcement, which is super exciting. So those are my big three.
No, I think you're right. There's such an interesting story there around what's happening with Xbox Live, with Game Pass, this idea of, having the, a subscription sort of approach, right? Versus buying $60 games time and again. It seems like part of Microsoft's approach is, very Netflix-like, and that you're going to sort of get all these games, all this content. And that'll mean big games, but also, potentially smaller games that people are more likely to sample. Which I think is, a huge opportunity here to see a diversity of content. That, there'll be some stuff for the super core gamers, but maybe some stuff that's a little broader in its appeal too. Let's talk about Halo. They've done a very good job over the past week hyping everyone up around, Master Chief's return. Seems like a bit of a spiritual reboot in a way of Halo. I mean, we saw the kind of key art, the box art yesterday, which was like very reminiscent of the original Halo Combat Evolved. We know we're going to see the campaign today. We saw, I think it was last year at E3, we saw kind of we've actually passed 2 E3s, we saw kind of teaser assets for Infinite. Originally, we saw kind of the engine, and then last year we saw, sort of an in-game sequence, or at least rendered in engine. What are your hopes? What does Halo have to do? Obviously a legendary franchise. I think there's a big opportunity here for them, but it's a very competitive space with first-person action games right now. What do you want to see in a new Halo? What will convince you that Halo's back on top?
More Chief, less Locke. That's my number one.
I think we'll get that.
Yeah, I think so too. I feel like that's something that they've really focused on, and I know that they got a lot of criticism for the story. And I'm actually, from what I've heard, Halo Infinite's development got pushed a little bit because they reworked the narrative after people were so upset about the Locke focus of the last game. Halo's an interesting one in that I don't want it to shift too far from classic Halo, because that's sort of been with me my whole life. But I would also, same token, like a story like an ODST. I really liked the way that was told. I feel like that's really unlikely, but I want a groundbreaking story. I want something that kicks me in the feels like Reach did, or like ODST did. But with the lore and the nerdiness of probably a Halo 2, just as long as Chief's with me the whole way, I'm going to be good though.
Yes, as you said, a focus on Master Chief. In terms of the style of gameplay, Danny, we see kind of first-person games going in different directions, with co-op, with other sort of, aspects to it. The sandbox style of Halo is something that I think people really like, the skirmishes and whatnot in the gameplay. Does that still hold up in 2020, or what do you when you see this demo or gameplay footage, what are you going to be looking for that's going to cue to you like Halo's back?
Yeah, I think that's the big sort of question on this. When we first saw Infinite, it was around the time that big sort of shift into games as a service was happening, where games like The Division and, Destiny is obviously the sort of most obvious one. We're turning into these platforms that we're getting catered to and new content over and over and over again. And obviously the word Infinite sort of implied something along those lines. So I'm really interested to see, Halo, when it first came around, and then when it had its sort of like soft reboot in a way with Halo 3, it's sort of like re-emergence. I feel like it was very much a game that was pushing both single player and multiplayer, and also just a lot of interconnectivity with different types of modes and stuff. So it's always been on this sort of bleeding edge of like gameplay design. And the other side of it that I'm really interested in is just how the Slipspace engine works, because they've had access to the hardware, or they've known what the hardware was going to be like longer than anyone. So really, we always look at the Forzas as the, beautiful showcases for new hardware, but I think in the same way, whatever we see from that gameplay is going to give us a real indication of just how good games can look on this system.
No, that's a great point. I think, as you said, this is hopefully going to be the high bar of, what we can look for visually and in terms of gameplay and the experience with it. Aaron, are you much of a Halo guy besides the Blink skin or something like that? What's going to convince you that this is the first person action game to get?
Well, for me, Halo's always all been about multiplayer, right? So like, I was never huge for the single player campaigns. I always played online, always played with friends. And the thing that I really hope is that there's sort of like a dedication to the old style of Halo, right? Like, I feel like every game nowadays is like heroes this, heroes that. And I love Overwatch, but if we're playing Halo, I want to go back to Deathmatch. I want to go back to Capture the Flag, King of the Hill. Like, I'm way into that kind of gameplay. So if they can like modernize that and make it still have that sort of, you know, like it feels new. It doesn't feel like, oh, they're just re-releasing Halo or like Unreal Tournament or something. That's what I'm looking forward to, is what can they do with multiplayer?
I'll take a re-release of Unreal Tournament.
Yeah, there we go.
Also, I did like Halo 5 multiplayer. I was actually okay with that. I am just more scared about kind of what you said, Danny, that they're going to Destiny-ify the single-player campaign, which is a very profitable thing to do. So I get why studios want to do that, but I'm scared.
Yeah, I know you said how they blend single and multiplayer, and it sounds like they're talking about campaigns. I don't know if we're even going to get much on the multiplayer. So you said how that's all going to blend together and how they're going to kind of explain what it is, right? And that's part of the thing with these streams. Sometimes we see lots of footage, but then we have all these questions afterwards about like, well, what is this? What are we actually seeing? Is that a co-op? Is that single player? So we will have Aaron Greenberg from Xbox is going to join us afterwards to break down some of what we see, and hopefully we'll get some information in the show as well about what they're doing with Halo. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. We will all watch everything together here at the top of the hour, and we are about 30 minutes away from the live Xbox game showcase. We don't know where it's going to start or where it's going to end, but the one thing we do know is that Halo Infinite is going to be there, and we've got the countdown clock up there as well, so you guys can wait with us. But we've got much more to talk about, and we've got some more world premieres to show you guys. Right now, we've got an update on a game that is coming out later this year. You just saw it at Ubisoft Forward. Here's a new look at Watch Dogs Legion.
Ladies and gentlemen, London is fucked. But don't worry, we've got our best man on the case. Because if anyone can fix this mess, it's this smooth bastard super spy. Oh. Well, looks like we're recruiting. It's a state of emergency.
Move in and lock down the city.
In the chaos, private armies have taken the streets.
Albion Security's contract has been extended indefinitely.
A crooked spy agency lurks in the shadows.
It's basic tradecraft. Want to sell a lie, weave it into the truth.
And organised crime has grabbed the old city by the bollocks.
The Kellys have got a human organ black market.
No, but I got to keep tracks on my merchandise, don't I?
The government's literally letting Albion shoot us in the street.
You need to build a resistance. Recruit anyone in the whole city. And I really mean anyone. Genius hackers, hard grafters, idiots, everyday people with something to fight for. And something unique to offer.
Actions are taken, so don't be mistaken.
The right person for the job. Or the ones you least expect.
The city needs a resistance. And it starts with you. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm in.
Welcome to the Resistance.
Faces on, guns out. It's about to get real.
Find them. Recruit them. Welcome to the Resistance.
All right, well, as we've mentioned quite a few times, we are going to get a first look at the campaign of Halo Infinite. And I asked a friend of mine what he wants to see in a brand new Halo. You may know Ninja for many things over the past few years, but he actually started and created quite a stir with all his awesome Halo gaming and gameplay back in the day. So without further ado, let's hear from Ninja about what he wants to see in a brand new Halo. Tyler, take it away.
Thanks, Jeff. I'm excited to see what Xbox has in store. And here's what I want out of Halo. If Halo Infinite can just give us a incredible campaign to close out just the classic series with a beautiful ending and a matchmaking / multiplayer system where the ranking system is unique and it works, and just really amazing, iconic maps. I feel like a lot of people loved the Halo 1, Halo 2, and Halo 3 maps that came out. They just felt so fun, whether it be super bouncing from Halo 2, nading all the weapons off and learning all that in Halo 1, and just the flow of Halo 3. It was just something so incredible. Played all of them, I love them all, and if Halo Infinite can just get that down, get some of those things down, right? Give us amazing weaponry, right? Weapon gameplay, like the Halo 1 classic pistol, the Halo 2 battle rifle, the Halo 3 battle rifle and sniper. I think it'll be in a really good spot, and I'm just excited to see what they have in store, man.
Awesome. Well, we'll see how much of that comes true, hopefully at the top of the hour when we get a look at Halo Infinite. Thanks to Ninja for joining us on the show. Now it is time to get to another world premiere, a net new game that you haven't heard about. And this one comes from my home country, my home province of Ontario, Canada. I saw this and got excited about just a brand new game from a smaller studio that you haven't heard about, but I think looks pretty cool. Check out this world premiere. Definitely some Stranger Things vibes to that one. Echo Generation with the hockey smash. They're exciting. All right, now it's time to get to another world premiere. Check this out. Oh, wait, we got YouTube creators, first of all. Sorry, I get so excited. I think there are more world premieres coming. We do have more coming, don't worry. But right now, actually, we're going to hear from a number of YouTube creators around the world to hear what they're looking forward to from Xbox, hopefully at the top of the hour. So let's check this out.
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Garu, and I'm a content creator on YouTube. And today, I'm so much excited for this Xbox event, because with this, we are going to get ourselves the brand new Halo stuff. And I used to play Halo back in 2011 and 2012, and I just used to spend hours and hours making a map on Halo 3 than actually playing the game. Me and my friends, we used to be like, okay, let's just put that over there, let's put this over there, and literally, we used to come back from school and we used to mess around with maps and all that stuff, and it just used to be a fun game in general. Can anyone forget about the skulls? Like, we used to have to like go ahead and collect them. Like, I could go in for hours on Halo, okay? Because with those skulls, we could actually go ahead and try out different stuff. And there just used to be so many variations in the game on its own. There used to be co-op, there used to be 1v1, King of the Hill, Juggernaut, and so many game modes in general. So I'm super excited for the brand new release of this game, because especially for content creators out there, there's gonna be so much stuff to make content on. Especially, you know, there's gonna be campaign, and plus if you guys make content on multiplayer, we can go on replay file, on theater mode, and capture some cool moments that we actually had in the game. So I really wish in the brand new Halo we get ourselves the co-op game mode. With that, you know, the 1v1 still remains, and all the fun game modes that we used to have in Halo 3, I still wish those still remain, because that will definitely bring back a lot of memories. So yeah, my name is Garu, and hopefully you guys are excited for this brand new game and for the event. Peace out.
Hey guys, Middle Jesus here. Now I vividly remember buying my very first Xbox. I have it right here. It is the beautiful, translucent Halo Edition Xbox. When I first saw this machine, I absolutely fell in love with it. So ahead of its time, and so many great AAA games as well as hidden gems. And then when it came time for the Xbox 360, well, this was my machine of choice right here. I have the special edition E3 2005 faceplate on here. And check this out. This was back when you had to have an external Wi-Fi adapter. It wasn't built into the machine, but man, I have so many great memories playing awesome games on this. Now, when it comes to the Xbox One, I'll admit I was a bit late to the party on that one, but I eventually did pick up the Xbox One X. You see the Gears edition here, and I have to say I was blown away by this. It's excellent hardware and the games are absolutely amazing on it. And so, from what I've seen so far of the Xbox Series X, it appears that Microsoft's going all in on powerful hardware and performance, plus they've added a bunch of first-party developers over the last couple of years, and there is that awesome backwards compatibility, which is important for collectors like me. So, yeah, I definitely think it's going to be pretty cool, and I want to learn more.
Hola amigas, amigos, yo soy Antrax. Wow, Halo, qué recuerdos tengo con este título, con este juego. Hizo mi infancia la más divertida de todas. Recuerdo que con el Halo 3 la campaña me la pasé en todos los modos posibles, en solitario y con amigos. El modo en línea, una chulada, lo mejor del mundo. Después con el Halo Reach lloré con la campaña, las cinemáticas son perfectas. Con Halo 4 recuerdo que en mi primer trabajo entré a trabajar para poder pagar el juego. Y entonces eso me ha causado una gran felicidad todo el tiempo con Halo. Es un juego que hizo mi infancia, mi adolescencia y estoy seguro que lo voy a jugar hasta que me muera. Y lo que se viene con este nuevo título, nueva entrega, estoy seguro que va a ser lo mejor.
Hey, Summer Game Fest audience, Lamar Wilson here, and here are the 5 games that I'm looking forward to them announcing today. So the first one is Halo Infinite. Now, I came into Halo late with Halo 5. I know. But I loved it so much and I can't wait to see what's next. Then there's a new game from Rare called Everwild. It just looks amazing and breathtaking. I have no idea what the game's about, but I want to see it. Number 3, I definitely want to see a Gears 6. This is going to be a game really about revenge and taking the Horde out at the center, at the literal core, hopefully for the final time. Now, number 4, since we're talking about Gears, why not a Lego's Gears Saga? You know, they did the Funko Pop thing on mobile, but what about Lego? Like, I would actually like to play that, so they need to announce that today. Now, finally, Cuphead 2. I know. Now, Cuphead 1 tore me a new one. It's one of the most unforgiving games ever, but for some reason, I just want more. Why do I want more? Man, am I crazy? Yes, I am.
Lamar, fully decked out in his Xbox gear, ready for the show. And it was so cool to have gamers from around the world joining us from India and Mexico and obviously here in the United States, because one of the things I think we found this year more than ever is that games bring us together and people are watching all around the world. So I want to say hello to everyone watching this special event where hopefully we're all just going to be excited about games as we watch through it. And the stream is coming up in about 18 minutes. You can watch it live right here on this feed. We're going to go right into it. And then immediately afterwards, we've got our exclusive post show with guests, some of the developers featured in the showcase, and Aaron Greenberg from Xbox will be joining us to answer questions. And we'll also have some creators join us as well to grade, see how Xbox did based on our expectations. And we'll also do a poll on Twitter. So make sure to vote on that. But right now it is time to get to another world premiere. This is a sequel to a game that if you watch YouTube Let's Plays and YouTube gaming videos, you've probably seen. Check this out. There it is. Hello, Neighbor 2. And we've got some more games still to come, and we are 14 minutes away from the start of the showcase from Xbox. It's going to last almost exactly 1 hour. So there'll be an hour showcase in 15 minutes and then our post-show afterwards. But right now, we're going to take a look at the ID at Xbox program, a great program this week, actually. If you're on Xbox, there's a Summer Game Fest demo event, over 70 games that you can download and preview for free. One of the big things I wanted to do with Summer Game Fest was give everyone a chance to play more games at home. And I want to thank the team at Xbox for putting that together in these unusual circumstances where we don't have big consumer events to go and play games. But right now, let's take a look at ID at Xbox, and there are some glimpses of some new games in here as well. Check it out.
Welcome to the future, we got the magic. Higher to the moon, going intergalactic. We like to get wild, we like to get turn it all the way up, 'cause we love the heat. It's a little crazy, then rain it on me. Doing it our own way, 'cause we like to change the game. So tell me you like to play. Turning it upside down, no we don't mess around. We're bringing the party now. We like to get wild. We're getting wild. Doing it our own way, 'cause we like to change the game. So tell me you like to play. We like to get wild, we like to get turn it all the way up, 'cause we love the heat. It's a little crazy, then rain it on me. We love it, we love it, we love it. We're getting wild.
There you go, Shredder's snowboarding game. I miss my SSX, so that one looks really good. And lots of great games coming to the ID at Xbox program that we're excited about. All right, now, though, we have a pretty cool brand new game to show you. This comes from a legendary game creator. And when I saw this and the journey he wants to take us on with this game, I was really excited and honored to have the opportunity to share this with you. So this is a bit of a longer piece, but it takes you into the world of a brand new game from a special creator in Japan. Please check this out.
Hello, Xbox ファンの皆様、スクエアエニックスの中裕二です。今日は皆様に不思議な物語をお届けに参りました。僕は現在スクエアエニックスにいて、バランカンパニーという新しいブランドを立ち上げました。そしてここにいる昔ソニックやナイツを一緒に作った大島直人と20年ぶりにタッグを組んでアクションゲームを作っています。
中さんがスクエアエニックスに行くと知った時はびっくりしました。
僕も驚いたよ。
しかしこうしてまた一緒にタッグを組んでゲームを作れること、そして僕たちの得意とするゲーム作りとスクエアエニックスが得意とする物語や音楽とが合わさり、誰も体験したことのない新しいゲームを世界中の皆様にお届けできることをとても嬉しく思います。
今日僕たちが皆様にお届けするのはアクションゲームの全てを詰め込んだアクションゲームオブアクションゲーム、バランワンダーワールドです。アクションゲームにミュージカルの世界観を持ち込んで、ボタン一つでたくさんの衣装能力を使い進んでいくゲームになります。
苦悩や葛藤、人は誰しもがポジティブな気持ちとネガティブな気持ちのバランスを保ちながら生きています。しかしそのバランスが崩れた時、あなたはバランシアターに迷い込みます。悩める12人のキャストたちの心象世界をあなたはさまざまなアクションを駆使して進んでいきます。アクションの一つ一つが衣装に割り当てられており、その数はなんと80種類を超えます。衣装を次々に着替えながら各ステージに散りばめられた謎を解き、そしてネガティブな気持ちにとらわれてしまったキャストたちの心をあなたの手で取り戻してあげてください。
本作は24言語に対応予定です。 Xbox One、さらに Xbox シリーズ X にももちろん対応し、片方のコンソールを持っていればどちらでも遊んでいただけるスマートデリバリーにも対応する予定です。世界中の皆様に 4K の最高画質で本作の世界を隅々まで楽しんでいただけます。ワンダーワールドの世界で皆様をお待ちしています。最後に今日は全世界初公開の映像も準備いたしましたので、どうぞご覧ください。It's show time!
Balan Wonderworld, a strange and mysterious land that you visit when you come to a turning point in life. Over 80 different costumes, unlocking unique actions and abilities.
Wedding count, ilawini, sindada, like Wedding count, ilawini, sindad, like Sanity, Simrama,
Look into your hearts to discover what's most precious. Balan Wonderworld. Every moment is an adventure.
There it is, the announcement of Balan Wonderland. Nights was such a special and important game to me. I want to thank Nakasan and Square Enix for sharing that world premiere announcement with us here on the pre-show. There's even more good stuff, though, coming up at the top of the hour. We are just 6 minutes away, so we're going to have another group join us here as we count down in the final 5 minutes. We got Matt Pat joining us live from the Game Theorist headquarters.
It's over. I could check out right now. I am sold. Balan Wonderworld, #1 game. Over. Stand aside Halo Infinite. That was what I needed to see.
I was going to say, I was pretty excited when we got that. I'm like, okay, this pre-show is going to be pretty good. That's an exciting announcement. Yeah, just to have those guys back doing that. So yeah, I agree with you, Matt Pat. All right, we've also got JD Witherspoon joining us. What's up, Ron? How you doing?
Yo, I'm chilling, man. I'm looking at this countdown for the showcase. I'm ready to put my helmet on and get it going, but I'm like, let's talk real quick.
I was gonna say, we got 5 minutes, and joining us also is Allegra Frank from Vox. Allegra, how you doing?
Hey, I'm really good now. Like, after Balan Wonderland, I'm with Matt. Yo, that's it. That's the end of the show for me.
We done. Yeah, no, it's nice, happy, uplifting. We need a game like that. So that was, yeah, a pretty good way to end the pre-show. It hopefully means there's even more big surprises coming in the main show. And let's talk about this. You guys are going to join us afterwards as well to react to what we see. So let's kind of get the preview. Balan Wonderland, but what else? What do you guys? Let me put it this way: what does Microsoft need to do to get an A from you watching this conference? So what's it going to take? Let's start with you, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, to me, we all know Halo Infinite is the big gem in their crown, right? Like, that's the piece that they're selling, the killer app. That is their killer app. But to me, you know, as a mild Halo fan, I want to see what is the other thing that's going to get me to buy this system in particular. And if it's not a neon green skin, like we saw for the earlier Xbox generations, to coat that big like obelisk that you're buying with Xbox Series X, Balan Wonderland or Balan Wonderworld might have sold it for me. It looks like exactly the sort of game that I need in 2020, that the world needs in 2020, and it hits me right in the nostalgia feels. So I needed another killer app for this system, and that might have been it.
Wow. All right. You guys are done in the pre-show. I like it. There are already high marks. JD, we know we're going to see Halo. Seems like you're sufficiently hyped if you've got your Master Chief helmet. What's it going to take to get an A from you in the post-show grade?
Well, I mean, obviously Halo. I would love for them to take Halo Infinite and use it to be showcased the same way they showcased Halo 2 from the E3 2005 world premiere. I remember that. They did the gameplay mixed in with cutscenes. And then, I mean, I believe we talked about Fable a little bit earlier. I believe Fable 4 would be great. I don't know if they've ever put out that last Fable. I'm not sure. I have to go back. And then for me personally, I want a new Matrix video game. I know that no one in the chat wants that, but hey, remember Enter the Matrix? That was fire. Remember that bullet time? Yo, bring me back.
Yeah, I remember that. Right now. Intersected with the movies and stuff. Yeah, all right. That's a wild prediction that we're gonna get a new Matrix. Keanu, they used Keanu last year, so you never know. Bring him back again. Allegra, I know you're excited about Balan, what they're doing. What else will it take to hype you up to an A grade in the post show?
Right. I mean, everything that's excited me in the pre-show is pretty much what I would also want in the post-show, which is interesting, sort of inventive, newer IP. Like, I'm not a big, Halo nerd or Watch Dogs or just anything with a number after it, unless it's some like bizarre number that has nothing to do with the game. Like, if it's a sequel, I'm pretty much out. But I would love to see more from Tell Me Why by Don't Nod. I would love to see some actual like gameplay and a good emphasis on that, because it really brings an interesting amount of diversity to Xbox. But in general, I like to be really surprised whether or not it's some, Final Fantasy exclusive that's making its way onto the Xbox for the first time, or just some game we've never heard of before from some small, exciting studio. I mean, that's always what wins me over. Also, Keanu Reeves, if he shows up again, I mean, that would be really great.
Hey, You never know. I think he's in Berlin filming Matrix, but hey, it's virtual, so anyone can. This year, anyone can show up because around the world we can connect people, and it's so different to not be with you guys. You know, with 5,000 people at the Microsoft Theater getting to see this stuff. But we are literally just about a minute away here from going live. You guys are going to join us afterwards. You've got your Master Chief helmet. And I want to thank everyone for joining us exclusively here on YouTube for the pre-show for the Xbox event. It's going to be about 2 minutes until we go. So maybe one last quick rapid fire here. JD's got his helmet on. How do you guys think they're going to open the show? What do you think the first thing is?
Halo Infinite. Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, start with the big guns. They know that's what everyone's here for, and then everything else is kind of icing on the cake.
Allegra, do you agree, or do you want something weird and wacky? I guess
it's going to be Halo, which for someone who doesn't really care about Halo, I would love because I need a bathroom break. So, sorry, JD.
The chat just lit up. He's going to take a bathroom break during Halo. All right, but hey, we got Balan, and yeah, that's part of the fun is that we don't know what they're going to do, and they've been very quiet. They've just said Halo, but beyond that, they've really not told us anything else about what games are going to be in there. So you said, tell me why. Great example. Everwild, Psychonauts. Those are games that we know they're making that hopefully we'll have updates on. And then I know for a fact there will be some new games announced in this showcase. And it's exciting to watch it live here on YouTube. Well, Matt, JD, Allegra, thanks for joining us. You guys are going to be with us afterwards. We're going to react to the press conference, see how Microsoft did, and then we're going to have some guests, some of the developers and some of the games featured in the show. We're going to have interviews with them, and Xbox's Aaron Greenberg will be joining us live to break down some of the news. So enjoy it. Watch it live here, the Xbox Game Showcase, an hour of games right here on YouTube.
Exosuit is now complete. Even though this technology will save humanity in the war to come, I must remind myself, liquid crystal cannot rise on its own. Titanium alloy cannot prevail in the face of extinction. Armor cannot hope. It all means nothing until you step inside.
Am I dead already? I must be. I mean, this is a punishment, right? This is death. No! No! No, 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 no! This isn't happening. I'm going to have to make an emergency landing. Hold on, Chief. No! No! You can't stand this! No, you... Breathe. No! You don't get to tell me what to do. You don't get to tell me anything. We're... Are you even listening?
I count 3 anti-aircraft cannons.
3 what?
You'll be safe here.
Oh, I'll be safe. Safe? I haven't been safe since I found you. I found you, remember? You were out there on your own, and you'd still be out there if it wasn't for me. I thought I was going home.
There won't be a home if we don't stop the Banished.
You keep saying that. We're outgunned, outnumbered. I know I saw Clone Wars over there. I'm going to dig through them and find one with the working sleep space drive. And when you're done with this war, we'll get away from here. Far away.
Wait here.
Oh. Let me find.
First, when I get back, we can look. Together.
Okay, big guy.
ago, your people are broken, scattered, hunted, defeated by me. I wish I could tell you it was difficult, but it wasn't. We are one step ahead, always. The ring is already under our control. Soon, the auditorium as well. The Harbinger and the Banished share the same goal. We fight together to honor the will of Atriarchs. But without challenge, I grew weary, lost, alone. But here you now stand. This is my last fight. A true test of legends. Our story will outlive us both. Set a fire in your heart, Spartan. Bare your fangs. Fight hard. Die well.
We hope you enjoyed your first look at Halo Infinite's campaign. I'm incredibly proud of the team at 343, and we're thrilled to share a hint of the epic battles that await you on the next chapter of Master Chief's journey. This is the most ambitious campaign we've ever created at 343. For the first time, players will have the freedom to explore a mysterious new Halo ring that's several times larger than our last two Halo games combined. Halo Infinite has been built from the ground up to take full advantage of Xbox Series X. Bigger battles, epic vistas, more complex visual effects, displayed with 10 times the processing power per pixel of Halo 5. This will be running at a flawless 60 frames per second and will allow us to bring the Halo ring to life in ways that have never been possible before. We look forward to sharing even more about Halo Infinite in the coming month, including the first look at multiplayer. And now, please enjoy a glimpse of what others in the Xbox Game Studios family have been working on.
World premiere.
Welcome everyone to the Xbox Game Showcase. Today, we're showing games from 9 of our 15 Xbox Game Studios, including unveils of 5 new first-party games. What you will see today is how Xbox Game Studios are harnessing their passions to bring their dreams to life. We believe that how you find and play your games is as important as the device you play them on. Xbox Game Pass is the best way to discover and play, and we want you to be able to experience as many great games as possible. So Game Pass members, you can play every game you see today from your subscription or free to play. These games will look and play best on Xbox Series X, delivering unmatched fidelity, performance, precision, and immersion. And we've designed the most consistently powerful next-generation console. And we've built state-of-the-art platform technology to allow every developer to realize their full vision. One studio that has always pushed the limits of our hardware is Turn 10. And they're early in development on the next Forza Motorsport. And Xbox Series X is bringing them closer to their dream of unprecedented realism with ray tracing and native 4K resolution, all at 60 frames per second. The trailer you're about to see was captured completely in-engine.
World premiere.
Our world has a rhythm. We all sense it. But only a few truly feel it. It is found in the smallest moments. In every step of a perilous journey. In the symmetry of ritual. In the bonds we share. And in moments of stillness. It teaches us to look beyond the expected. To be a light in dark places. To seek answers. And to stand watch over our world. Our world has a rhythm. We all sense it. But only a few truly feel it.
Everwild will give to you a magical and untamed natural world for you to explore and to just truly lose yourself in. It's a place to be eternal. And eternal has the gift to sense and feel how magic flows through nature, makes ever living. The team here at Rare are so excited to be working on something like Everwild, and I hope you're excited too. But I just want to take this opportunity to say a massive, massive thank you to everyone who's shown their support and love, and for the incredible, awesome, positive community that's already growing around this game. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Whoa, I just got hit with a flood of memories.
Love you, Mom.
You seeing what I'm seeing?
Mom?
Allison?
Yeah. It doesn't matter that they don't believe us.
We all believed that what happened that night was self-defense. But we couldn't be sure.
It doesn't matter that they kept us apart.
Brother, sister, we look out for each other.
It doesn't matter that finding the truth feels impossible.
We're all done with fairy tales.
The only thing that matters is you're my brother. And the only way to move forward is to keep looking back.
We've been getting these visions whenever we see or hear something really emotional. Everything we thought we knew about Marianne just got thrown out the window.
She loved you. She attacked you. We both saw it.
I thought coming here would be closing a chapter of our lives.
Nothing good comes from stirring up old memories.
We don't really have a choice about that.
There's always a choice, son.
I can't do this.
Stop!
Hey everyone, my name is Gennady. I'm the co-founder and director of technology at Moon Studios. Today we're very excited to tell you that we're working on a very, very special version of Ori and the Will of the Wisps, specifically for Xbox Series X. We are now at a time where we can reach levels of fidelity and frame rates previously absolutely impossible on any console. An already gorgeous game like Ori can now run at 120 Hz refresh rate in full 4K HDR in its highest quality, delivering unprecedented game feel with silky smooth animation, super crisp, sharp image, and low input latency, which is just so important for the tight and precise platforming feel of this game. We can also boost the immersion in different spaces in our world by using premium audio tech that we previously just could not simulate in real time. And with all of this crazy hardware power, we can give our players more options with how they want to play our game. We can't wait for all of you to experience this very special version of Ori coming to Xbox Series X with smart delivery later this year.
From the furthest reaches of the universe comes the biggest mystery in the galaxy.
An abandoned research facility, and now shady corporate intrigue.
Marvel of the Gorgon asteroid. A sordid stopover, full of salacious secrets and scandalous strangers.
Read
Greetings, attractive patron. You are looking right on today. With the right pace,
They wanted us to develop a miracle drug.
can put you on the wrong side of a gun. Or sword. Or this thing. Thrills. Danger. Intrigue.
A word of advice before you go, Captain? Trust no one.
What will you find on Gorgon? This internet cannot be drinks and stay.
If you're waiting for the biggest game of the year, then wait for Cyberpunk. But if you're ready for the smallest, we've got you covered. From Obsidian Entertainment, the makers of games that are nothing like this one. This summer, strive together to thrive together. Or just feed your friend to the spiders and go solo.
At Obsidian, we're dedicated to pushing narrative and role-playing games. It's something we do every day when we come to the office, and we can't wait for you to play our next great adventure, Peril on Gorgon. It's the first of 2 planned story expansion packs for the Outer Worlds that we're putting together with our friends from the Private Division. Now, it's also important that we continue to evolve how we tell stories in games, and Grounded is the perfect example of that. The team has been working for the last 2 years on how to tell an Obsidian story within a survival game. Now, what's great is that you're going to be able to play the game on July 28th on Xbox Game Preview and on Steam Early Access. We want to hear from you, and we want to continue to build Grounded together. Oh yeah, if you've been wondering, we have working on that next RPG. Check this out.
World premiere.
We have always known war. It forged our empire, turned heroes into queens and kings, and decimated our foes. Now our oaths are lost, forsaken. And you must face the monsters our sins have borne. Is an oath worth the weight of a crown?
Avowed is an expansive first-person RPG set in the fantasy world of Eora. When Obsidian Entertainment joined Xbox Game Studios, they told us that this epic game is the one they want to make. As creators of critically acclaimed RPGs, this is Obsidian at their best, and it is being built from the ground up to take full advantage of the power of Xbox Series X. At Xbox Game Studios, we also work with independent developers, always with the goal of empowering them to bring their ideas to life. I'm excited to announce our work with Interior Night, a new studio led by some of the most talented storytellers in our industry. Let's meet Caroline Marshall, studio head of Interior Night, to debut their original game.
Bonjour, I'm Caroline from Interior Night. Our team is really passionate about storytelling because when you play a story, you step into the character's shoes. You get to experience their fears, their hopes, their conflicts firsthand. And in the process, you learn more about yourself. And this is quite powerful. Our first game spans 30 years in the American Southwest. It's a story about family, resilience, and sacrifice. But most of all, it's about how you will shape the fate of real, flawed people trying to find their way in a world they don't fit in. I hope you enjoyed the trailer.
World premiere.
Fortune, fortune, smiling fate. I haven't seen you much of late. I need you now, I cannot wait. But when I look, you're not around.
We were on our way to start a new life that summer. For our family, it was just a stopover.
For mine, it was the end of the road.
On the ground, now!
The sun went down on all of us that day. Was it fate? Coincidence? No. It was a long-forgotten secret, buried in the dark.
All my life, I've been scared of the shadows. But now, I'm finally ready to step into the light. I got your letters.
Here at Ninja Theory, we're hard at work on all of our projects, including Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, which we announced at the Game Awards back in December. An incredible 3.5 million players have now experienced Senua's story in Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. We're excited to start giving you an insight into what comes next for our Celtic Warrior, an experience that we'll be building in Unreal Engine 5 for Xbox Series X and PC. I'm happy to reveal today that Senua's Saga will be set in the beautiful country of Iceland. And you can find out more about our location scouting and how we've discovered the history of our setting in a brand new behind-the-scenes development diary, which you can view straight after the show on the Ninja Theory YouTube channel. It's been so touching to see the impact that Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice has had on so many players, and we're incredibly thankful to all of the fans that have been part of Senua's story so far. And we're excited for you to be part of our development journey from here on out.
Say hi to Peter. He's on the line
What?
here.
Peter, he's been sitting there the whole time? Hey, who wrote the song?
Peter.
Oh, Peter. Fantastic work. Love the song.
Very much.
It's going to be fun to sing it. Now it's time to rock. Shall we start rocking?
probably been a long time since you've had a visitor. I hope you don't mind pop-ins. Where are we?
Shh. It's a quiet place.
Lost alone, neither skin nor bone. Just a thought is all I've got. Now my cover's blown. At the bottom of a lake, a frozen feeling. When my friends pulled me back up, I started to this rhyme. I can smell the universe, and I can taste the sky, and I can see each molecule through my cosmic eye. Senses are the magic keys. They fill roads I've had. Unlocking all my memories. Never, never.
We can't wait for you to experience the amazing games built by Xbox Game Studios, and there is just so much more for you to play on Xbox. We are partnering with thousands of creators, from the largest publishers to the smallest independent developers, to bring you the broadest variety of games ever. There is one developer in particular that is close to us, not just geographically, but in history too. I'm thrilled to announce that this fall, our friends at Bungie will bring Destiny 2 to Xbox Series X and Xbox Game Pass. If you are one of the more than 10 million Game Pass subscribers, you also get access to all current Destiny 2 expansions starting this September. For Game Pass Ultimate members, Destiny 2 will also be playable on mobile from the cloud. Later this year, Bungie will also release a new version of Destiny 2 that is optimized for Xbox Series X. 4K resolution running at 60 frames per second. Here's an all-new look at Bungie's Destiny 2 Beyond Light.
I've seen terrible things born out in the darkness. Every moment brings them closer. It's time to step beyond the light.
This is Destiny 2 that you can play any way you want thanks to Xbox Game Pass. Some of the world's most inspired developers are working on games for Xbox Series X, and we're just honored to be able to collaborate with them. Xbox Series X will empower both new and experienced creators to bring the future of games to life like never before. Unique perspectives, unexpected innovations, and fresh voices that demand to be heard and that we can't wait for you to discover. All of the games you're about to see are being built to launch exclusively on Xbox consoles. Thanks and enjoy.
World premiere. World premiere.
My Lord Inquisitor, I've reached a term of prime and begun our investigations. Our recon squad has been sent into sub-level 6 of the Hive to determine the full extent of the unrest. I'll know more when they make it back. If they make it back.
World premiere.
Something changed, my heart could not contain the miracle of this world and all that it creates. With every passing day, the winds might grow stronger and carry us away, but we will hold on to joy to light the way. The reminder that love does not escape. I'm yours forever. There is no end in sight for us. Nothing could measure the kind of strength
premiere.
Approaching orbit. Scans a no-go. Sure you want to drop here?
Oh yeah. Already lacing up my boots back here.
What we got? Another good-for-nothing space rock?
Whoa. Hold on, let me check.
Find anything good?
Vex, you're not gonna believe this. Ouch! What the?
It all starts with a dead girl. A forest. The moon. Scent of pines. And then the gunshot. Every story has two sides. A regular, rational one, but also a darker and deeper truth. Not unlike a nightmare. I can see both. Worse, I can link them.
Hello? Anyone there?
What is this place?
World premiere.
Luis Torres. I've seen your future. Global risk is scared of the weapon you will become.
Destiny chose me to save this world. And I will see it done.
Blacklist, we make our own path. We protect our own.
Can you protect me from fate?
Seconds.
We got company.
Soon, the entire world will burn, all because of him.
The ghost is here!
Today, you saw 10 world premieres and 22 console launch exclusives. Game Pass members can play every game you have seen today from Xbox Game Studios and all of our partners in the subscription or free to play. This is just a peek at some of the new titles coming to Xbox Series X. And some of the games you already love and some you have yet to play will also be optimized for Xbox Series X. Games like Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5, and Sea of Thieves. You'll get the next-gen upgrades at no additional cost when they launch. You can expect a lineup of over 100 titles for Xbox Series X this holiday season. With Series X and Game Pass, Xbox is the place to play, and you are at the center of everything we do. Now, you may have noticed we didn't get to visit all of our Xbox Game Studios today. That means we'll have more to share later this year. But until then, here's one more thing.
World premiere.
The world is filled with stories of legendary heroes and treacherous villains, of fantastical creatures and wondrous places where nature and magic live in perfect harmony. Not all stories have happy endings. But yours has yet to be written.
All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Xbox Game Showcase post-show. There you go, the announcement of a brand new Fable and our first look at the gameplay of Halo Infinite. We now have a post-show with some developers joining us, as well as Aaron Greenberg from Xbox. Luke Smith from Bungie is going to be with us as well. Tim Schafer, and much more. And of course, we want your reactions to hear what you guys think. I just posted a poll on Twitter. How would you grade Xbox in the press conference and what they did? We want to hear your opinion on it and what Xbox showed across their entire portfolio. One interesting thing, everything they showed today was an Xbox Game Pass game, which, you know, is pretty impressive that all those titles are going to be on Game Pass. But of course, they're probably games that you wanted to see there that you may not have seen. So we want to hear what people think, but we've got our panel now to react to everything, to tell us what they thought. You heard leading in what their expectations were. Everyone was excited about the Balan announcement in the pre-show. How did Xbox do in the main show? Well, let's welcome them back again. We've got Matt, Pat, JD, and Allegra fresh off the live showcase. We were all watching it. So I've done a lot of talking. Matt, let's start with you. What did you think?
I thought, you know, Jeff, I think you had some of the biggest announcements. So the conference itself, I'd give it like B+. The pre-show where you announced Balan Wonderland, you showed a brief clip of 12 minutes. Hello Neighbor 2, which I kind of hate that whole franchise. I have a whole history with it, but I appreciate that it was there. You know, I got to say the pre-show pushed it into A territory for me. Infinite looked great. I was glad to see that it wasn't just like an Infinite pay-to-play kind of game where there's an actual storyline, that there's an actual campaign that you're going to play through. The Forza graphics really showed off the power of the console, and I'm not even a graphics guy. So yeah, across the board, like there was a lot of CGI cutscenes, there was a lot of, you know, not in-game moments, but I was really excited. I thought they did a solid job of showing off the breadth of it, and the true winner outside of the pre-show is Game Pass. I think they see where the future is headed. They see that that's going to be their big money maker, get people to try a lot of these games and hop aboard the subscription train. I think it's a smart move on their part, and that's the winner of this press conference.
Yep. I agree. No, it is pretty impressive that all those games are going to be in Game Pass. Allegra, you wanted some surprises, some weird, whimsical, fun games on it. You know, Halo. I don't know if it's so. You had your bathroom break, but I don't know if you got to catch a little bit of it at the end there. But what was your overall impression of what they did? I think one thing that a lot of people online were saying, you know, they wanted to see the power of that next gen box. You know, where they were taking kind of games and graphics, as Matt said. You know, definitely some CG teasers in there for State of Decay, Fable, whatnot. What grabbed your attention? How would you grade what they did?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely did take my bathroom break during Halo. I feel like when I came back, it was still going. So I'm glad you guys got, you know, your infinite amounts of Halo. Haha. I thought there was actually a good mix of games that are both going to be coming out soon, and then games obviously that are very much in the works. You know, we have no real idea of when we'll see them. So, you know, that game Grounded, I thought looked kind of cool, especially that it's coming out in the summer. I was happy to see that Tell Me Why, the first chapter, would be coming out in August. I mean, it's always great that, you know, when an event has games that we can actually anticipate with a concrete end date. But I also was really impressed that there was a good focus on original games. I was really excited to see the As Dusk Falls trailer. I thought that looked really great. And Everwild looks amazing. That game is really beautiful. A lot of great games with wonderful art design. But yeah, I mean, I think in terms of showing off the new console, it seemed as though a lot of the games that we saw are compatible with the Xbox One as well, or we just saw, as you totally mentioned, CG teasers. But the Ori, I guess, upgrade for Xbox Series X looks amazing. Like, that looked fantastic. So that was a really cool little teaser for what to kind of expect from the new console, even if it's an existing game, just kind of redone for Series X.
So what letter grade would you give them here?
I don't believe in letter grades. I'm one of those unschooling people. So Yeah, we don't do letter grades. I mean, I'd probably give
You
it
do thumbs
I'd
up or
probably-
down, or how do you like to judge?
No, I mean, I would, if I'm going to adhere to the Jeff Keighley scale, I would say probably B plus as well. I actually thought it was, there was a good breadth and diversity of games shown. Game Pass was definitely the star of the show, as you guys mentioned, and I think it's cool that they're leaning into that program.
Yep, absolutely. All right, JD, you put your Master Chief helmet aside. We got to see a lot of Chief. I thought that opening kind of CG lead into the Halo piece was press here to play the demo. What was your takes? Halo back?
I love Halo, and I've beaten all the previous games and all the side games minus the Halo Wars series. I'm not a top-down guy, but I'm one of those people who's watching it and I'm like, wait, I'm confused on the story. That's the one thing that's kind of throwing me right now. I mean, I'm just gonna wait and see what happens. But I like the gameplay. We have a grappling hook. I'm a fan. We're like Spider-Man now with a gun. So I'm excited about that. And I'm also excited about the other games that we saw. State of Decay 3. I've never been more scared of deers. Bambi's not going to be the same anymore. Regardless of that, Fable at the end. I didn't think that was going to happen. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So they touched on that. I think we got a lot of decent stuff. Letter grade wise, I give it a B. I give it a B plus A minus. It was one of the things where they're showing you what they're capable of. We're all aware that the console is going to be very powerful. Everybody wants to know when it's coming out and when we can expect it and when we can put pre-orders in. But from what I saw, I enjoyed it. I think they came swinging.
Yeah, no, and as everyone's mentioned, Game Pass will obviously allow you to play across multiple devices as well. So as you said, it's their philosophy is not all about getting you to upgrade to Series X, right? It's sort of like if even you have a PC now or a phone or, even a existing Xbox, looked like everything in that showcase will be on Game Pass and also be available potentially on the device you already have. So it's less of a story of get you to upgrade to the new machine. That said, Matt, when you look at that, this fall you gotta buy one first or maybe buy both, but PlayStation or Xbox, like did it do enough to convince you like this should be in first position for you?
Honestly, that's the question that I was asking myself the entire time watching the conference, and I gotta say, Xbox sold me on the need for it being next gen more than PlayStation. And I feel bad saying that because I think last generation I skewed more into PS5 or PS4 territory.
Right.
But I really love the games that they showcased. I love the fact that they're really diving into the ID at Microsoft program and some of those indie ideas that are kind of you see surfacing and you're starting to see them kind of bubble up and get more of a spotlight. I love the emphasis that they have on that. And, they do have a lot of big titles that, are coming down the pipeline. And I know that you think we're joking, Jeff, about Balan Wonderworld, but I gotta say that I felt so emotional watching them talk about that game and seeing that style of gameplay in a way that I haven't felt about a lot of games in a long time. And like it seems so dumb, but I'm so excited off of just that short little bit that you played before the whole thing started. Like that.
It's a pre-show. Pre-show gets an A, as you said.
Enough to sell the system. Seriously.
All right, I like it, Matt Pat Balan. That's the no. I said I think there was a whimsy and it's just he said and Yuji Naka coming back doing that. I think he said like I love that game where the world needs a little bit more of that, right? And a few less zombies and a few less guns and just kind of fun and musical and whatnot. I agree. Allegra, out of all the things that you saw, was there anything that you didn't see that you wanted to see? We got a little bit of a tease of Fable. I mean, not a lot of info, I think, in that. I'm sure fans can maybe pull apart some things, but it's sort of Playground's making a Fable, which we kind of already knew in some form. Was there anything that you were like disappointed that you didn't see?
I think I sort of mentioned before, I always love to see that really big wow surprise of, oh, wow, we're getting, Sony exclusive showing up on a Microsoft platform for the first time. I'm thinking about when they announced Final Fantasy 15 would be on the Xbox. So we didn't really get anything quite like that, where it's very, unpredictable or even shocking, which I really thrive on those moments. I think we all kind of do. So it didn't really have the big wow showstopper moment for me.
I would agree. No, I think that's the thing. As you said, there was kind of things we knew, and yes, there's a new Forza coming. I guess probably the biggest surprise might have been, Obsidian's Avowed, which is at least, reveal of a new game. But he said that's expected. They're a first-party studio. They make RPGs, so they're making another one. But you're right. Wasn't some, there were rumors before of like, oh, there's going to be a Ninja Gaiden, or there'll be other, other things. And even on the third-party side, one thing I think was notable is that every game in there was on Game Pass. I think that meant a lot of games weren't included because they might not be on Game Pass. So people were, wondering like, where was Cyberpunk? Where was Elden Ring? And, things like that, and all these big expectations. But it was more focused on the first party sort of studios overall. I'm curious to get your take, like, in the environment we're in this year, out of all the games that were there and Game Pass, is that changing how you guys are going to play games or thinking about games? We're in this world where these live service games are out there. As you said, effectively with that, you're never going to have to pay $60 to play any of those games. Do you think, is that going to change how we play games moving forward? Because it is a bit of a difference in philosophy to sort of other platforms, that it's more Netflix-like, and that you're going to get to sample a bunch of games. Is Game Pass, is it changing how you guys are playing games now, or do you think it's going to change moving forward?
I mean, I definitely think it's a really smart initiative that Microsoft has and that it owns. I mean, Sony has PS Now, but like, LOL, right? So, and Nintendo doesn't quite have anything like that other than NES and SNES Online. So Microsoft really owns the streaming, but for games side of the industry. And I think people are attracted to it, and the fact that it really is pushing it so hard. I think it's going to be something that might become industry standard that Sony and Nintendo will have to react to for the next generation, which is really interesting, I think. And encouraging people to sample a ton of games definitely is an appealing sort of pitch. And I know I froze there for a second, but I'm back.
Yeah, to me,
that's okay.
It's so pro-consumer, and it gives the power back to the player, right? Where, for a long time, I mean, in the early days, old man MatPat here, you could rent games, right? You could see if you could beat it in a period of days, or if it was a game that you wanted to kind of pursue. And there's been this kind of like nebulous area where you either have to kind of fully commit to the game or not. For a really long time, there hasn't been kind of a good solution since that era, really. And like, there's been ideas here and there, but what this does is it allows players to sample such a huge variety of different games, really find games that interest them, and also there's no risk and no cost to try things that you might not have played otherwise, right? And so, hey, you might have grown up as a first-person shooter guy, but wow, that indie game is just available right there. Let me check it out because I saw someone on YouTube play it, or my friends talked about it, or whatever. Suddenly you're drawn into a whole other world of gaming that, who knows, you might like and want to explore and find, your new favorite title in. And I think that is so exciting. I think it's so forward-facing. And like I said, I think it puts the power back in the hands of the player, as well as giving so many more studios a chance to have their work seen by more people, which I think is good all across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's just it. I look at some of those games in there, Tell Me Why or Psychonauts, or games that people might, not necessarily buy right out of the gate for $60, but now they're like, hey, I can experiment with it, I can play it, and you might get hooked and have more stuff to play. JD, are you finding, like, you talk about Halo, that's a game I'm sure you would pay $60 for, but hey, that's coming in Game Pass. So does that open you up to, do you think, playing more of these games than normal?
Yeah, definitely with Game Pass and just the option to stream games. I mean, I'm looking forward to what the future has when it comes to being able to do that, because like most people, I have Game Pass as well. So if it's just a simple download compared to maybe, I don't know, getting like the limited edition box set or a physical copy, I probably will do that because it'll probably be easier to hop online and play with friends. And I feel like just that whole concept of Game Pass being able to, stream games simultaneously, maybe across different devices, and just having that type of freedom will make things easier for future gamers so that they can open up and just have fun with it. But I wanted to say to you and Matt, hey, going back to our deadlock debate, Matt, is hype killing video games? Remember that?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good
I
4
literally
years
just
ago. I
pulled
remember
that
that.
up.
That's right. No, I mean, look, there's a whole I mean, there's a hype cycle to this stuff where we saw a lot of, CG trailers for games that are probably years off and whatnot. And I think one thing a lot of people did say, I saw in the chat and online, and people were like, they want to see more gameplay, right? We got to see a Halo demo, but everything else was like a very tightly wound trailer. And I think we're in an age now, people just want to see Let's Play, just, see games. And you do wonder, like, that Fable teaser, like, you don't really learn much about the game at all, right? And it's sort of like, it's a fancy logo sequence. And now it's like, people are like, when do we wait to actually see the game? So did you guys it's a good question. Do you think they showed enough gameplay? Like, is it the style of the presentation? And, the event in May, I think people criticized them for saying it was gameplay and it wasn't. And, this felt it was a more polished presentation overall and how they presented it. But it's a good question, even compared to the big E3 press conference that we always go to. They couldn't do that this year. Was this a good approximation? Like, what did you think of how they delivered the news? Matt, start with you.
At this point, for these big events and these big conferences, I'm so used to just seeing a bunch of CG that I'm willing to forgive it a little bit more. The nice thing about E3, right, is usually they show you the beautiful, like, front piece. Here's us with our pretty title card, and then you can roll onto the show floor and actually get some hands-on time with whatever pre-rendered demo or, short little gameplay segment that you have, and you can actually get a feel for what the game is. I am missing that, and it is a shame that that doesn't exist this year. That being said, I think at this point, it's one of those things that, like, I wish I could have seen more, since you're kind of missing that component of it, but we're all doing the best that we can considering the world circumstances. I'm honestly just impressed that both of these consoles are still able to come out this year, considering all the, the delivery pipeline, because every single piece is coming from a different part of the world, and, factories have been out of work for a long time. There's been a lot of changes to the system. So I'm just still excited that this is still a year where gaming is stepping forward and able to provide us entertainment, and that everything didn't have to get shifted to 2021. And so I'm more forgiving this year than I think I would be other years.
Yep. No, I think that's a good point. And even with the expectations for some of these announcements and press conferences, you said games are being built, work from home. And I say to people, like, in some ways, the best anyone can do is a B this year, just because of, like, the challenging circumstances we're in. But a lot of the fans think, hey, no, I want all my announcements. And as you said, it's been really hard to make games and make these trailers. Allegra, what about, we're all watching these from home. We're not at this big live event. How did it didn't have the surprise, as you said, that, the audible wow in the audience, right? And the energy of Keanu, showing up as a surprise last year and things like that. How did you think of how Xbox, like, presented their story in this format this year?
I think they did a good job considering the circumstances. I'm a big Nintendo person, and so I'm pretty accustomed to the Nintendo Direct format at this point, where it is that sort of presentation. There's no interactive or live component. So it doesn't feel as odd to me to see something like this. But I did appreciate, having developers and directors and producers show up to sort of break up the flow. It does feel different, though, to not have that actual in-person energy. I think we all, as we have all said, like, we do miss that. We do miss being able to really react all together live. So it's a little less fun to have to do that at home by yourself, but it's not completely, out of the realm of implausibility that we would have to stay at home and watch these. Like, Nintendo's been doing that for years now.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, different format, but as Matt said, I think it would be great to be able to go hands-on with some of the stuff, and that's one thing that we sort of miss now. Is, like, that Halo demo looks great. Like, let's jump in and play it, which I know JD would be there for, but hopefully, the thing is, it still says holiday 2020. We didn't see multiplayer, like holidays coming soon, right? And I think that's what's interesting with a lot of these games. It's like, are they really going to make it? What are they going to look like? And it's, they're big games coming this holiday that we didn't see. Assassins we saw at the Ubisoft event, Cyberpunk, probably one of the biggest games the second half of the year. They're doing their own Night City Wires. So it's like, we didn't see that. And that potentially could be one of the biggest games for Xbox. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate you dropping by. Seems like positive grades across the board. Yes, Matt?
Jeff, I wanted one last prediction for everyone here. This is the question that's still, I think, on everyone's mind. PlayStation or Xbox, who's going to break first? Oh, no. Who's going to break first? And can you hear me at least?
The Nintendo Ninjas got Matt.
It goes to Pat. The battery went out, I think.
Damn it. Who's going to break first and reveal the price? That's my question.
Okay, well, that's a good point. We'll let Matt recharge his battery, thanks to Allegra and JD. But yes, you're right. The price is definitely a big question mark around the different systems. There's obviously rumors that there could be a second kind of version of Xbox Series X, codenamed Lockhart, that there's been a lot of rumors about. PlayStation has already revealed that there's going to be an all-digital PS5 and the full system. But you're right, the date and also the price of these systems, when are we going to get to find out what they're going to cost and what will be the differential there? Didn't hear anything about hardware today, which we weren't expecting to. Xbox kind of managed expectations that we weren't going to hear about hardware. It was going to be a game showcase, but that's probably one of the next phases. And the thing now this year, without the big E3 events, I think these companies are spreading their news out a little bit. And we've seen that with Summer Game Fest. I expect we're going to see more events from Xbox and PlayStation in the coming months to share additional news. So even Ubisoft did their Ubisoft Forward last week. They already said we're doing another one in September. So we're going to have kind of more frequent cadence, I think, of events throughout the summer. But this obviously was, I think, one of the bigger Xbox events with a lot of games and content across the board. So thanks again to Matt, Allegra, and JD for joining us. And now we've got some special guests to talk about all the content and answer your questions. And joining us right now, live from an undisclosed location, is Xbox's Aaron Greenberg to talk about all the news that Xbox shared inside of the press briefing today, including Halo Infinite and a bunch of other titles. Aaron is heads up all the marketing for all the Xbox first-party games. So there were a lot of first-party games today, obviously with Halo Infinite and the reveal of a new Fable as well coming from Playground Games. So there he is. It is Halo shirt. Aaron Greenberg, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's good to be with you, Jeff. I wish we were in LA at E3 and celebrating, like you guys were saying, letting people get hands-on, but it's just good to have the show done and everything worked, and it's nice to see fans and partners and everyone reacting pretty positively.
Yeah, no, this was a big moment. I know you and the team worked really hard to get all the games ready for today under these insane conditions to develop these titles. But let's start off with the shirt that you're wearing and Halo Infinite. We got to see a beautiful kind of story piece and then a real demo of the gameplay of Halo Infinite, and it definitely looks like the team is kind of going back to the roots of Halo, though adding some new things like the grappling hook. Tell us a bit about what did you guys want to communicate with this demo of Halo? We've obviously seen some trailers before, but this was raw gameplay. What do you hope fans took away from this demo?
Yeah, I mean, I think for many people, whether you're new to the franchise or existing fans, I think we all remember the Halo Combat Evolved, and really, this is a spiritual reboot of that. And so how do we kind of take the OG Halo and modernize it? And I think what you've seen is the benefit of things like the Slipstream engine, Halo's take on an open and expansive world, seeing additions with things like the grappling hook. And, it's all Chief all the time. And I think that I think the team at 343 has done a great job creating the Halo game that I think the world needs right now, and more than anything. And so that's been the focus. We've been anxious to let people see Halo true gameplay, big campaign demo. That's what we opened the show with. Team's working hard, and we're excited to get this in the hands of fans this holiday.
Yeah, we obviously saw, Xbox Series X gameplay on that. One thing that, is unique this time is that this Halo game will, it will work on your current Xbox. It'll work on your PC. Can you maybe explain sort of like what the team is going to be able to do with Series X with that game that will be sort of, take it to the next level beyond sort of it working on the current systems? And I'm sure it's a challenge to make it work across everything, but I know Phil Spencer said it's going to be more PC-like and that it will be optimized for, higher powered machines. Tell us maybe a bit about like when you have those 12 teraflops, what the game is going to be able to do that will really show off Series X.
Yeah, I mean, what you're going to see from our first party teams is that they're developing these games natively for Xbox Series X. So they're going to first focus on getting the most power, the most performance out of that. So this will take full advantage of all the benefits of Series X. You're right, the 12 teraflops, the instant gaming you get from the SSD, the instant switching. You can see the lighting, a lot of the benefits from the engine. So the more expansive worlds, just tons and tons of benefits there. With that said, we want to create a game that Xbox One fans can also play, that PC gamers can also play. And I think as you've seen what Phil outlined in his Player First post recently, is that we want our fans this holiday to be able to play Halo wherever they want to play it. And whenever they're ready to upgrade to next gen, we will give them the Xbox Series X upgrade of Halo Infinite at no additional cost. By the way, if you're a Game Pass member, you get the game at launch, but we're building this game so that if you get it in Game Pass, you can play it on Xbox One, on the PC, and on Series X, and you never get charged more than once for a game, whether you buy it or get it in the subscription.
One thing that's sort of a silly question, but I'm sure some people will wonder, is now that everything's in Game Pass, people love their like collector's editions and things like that for Halo, the Master Chief helmets and whatnot. How are you guys approaching that stuff if all these things are in Game Pass? Will you still have collector's editions, or how will you handle that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we're working with retail partners around the world. There'll be like special steel books and things like that for people that want that. We know there's a fan that wants to buy the game, have the physical disc, and they want to have that steel book, and they want to have something collectible that they can add to their collections. And always loving fans send me tweets with pictures that they've literally from the original Halo. So we will make that available. We also know for a lot of fans, like maybe they wouldn't buy Halo, but if it's included in their Game Pass subscription, they'll try it. We think they're going to love it. And that makes a better experience for everyone, to have more people in multiplayer, have more people playing Halo. Building a bigger community is good, not just for our internal studios, but also for our third-party partners. So we're going to give people choice in how they play. And of course, we'll still support the physical editions as well.
Awesome. And Chris, studio head, was in there talking about, or head of the game, talking about single player, and multiplayer is obviously going to be a big part of the experience as well. Probably not a ton to share today about that, but the team is obviously kind of focused on both modes in a big way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we really, like you've seen with any big AAA game, if you looked at how we unveiled Gears, last year, like we didn't do it all at once. We're really thoughtful about the right beats. I'd also say this entire show from beginning to end, every person working on the show, every development team on every demo, every asset is all doing this from home. So that's not easy for game development. So I'm just incredibly proud. The team at 343 has done heroics. They're making great progress on the game. What you saw was obviously full playable gameplay of the campaign. We know that's what people want to see first and foremost for Halo, but I've been hands-on with the multiplayer. I've played it along with Phil and other folks. They've got a lot of exciting innovation happening there, and we'll unveil that when the time's right. But today was about campaign and a first look at that open, expansive world, some of the new things like the grappling hook, and it's all Chief all the time, which I think is definitely what fans are looking for.
What people wanted to hear confirmation of. And I saw holiday 2020, so the plan is still that this will launch kind of day and date with Series X for the game?
Yes, our plan is to launch this holiday. We're planning to launch this with Xbox Series X. For folks that don't know, the last time Halo launched with an Xbox was with the original Xbox back in 2001. So, for us, like, we've been very thoughtful about planning the launch of this generation and every approach, every detail, from all the player first initiatives to having Halo ready to building the world's most powerful console ever made. And so we're feeling really proud about that. And we think we're well positioned for a great holiday for our fans and for our partners.
You talked about, world's most powerful console. You have a lot of other games. The studios group showcase, as Matt Booty said, lots of world premieres and announcements. One that we should talk about at the end there was a nice moment, was a brand new Fable from Playground Games. We didn't get a ton of information out of that teaser about it, but what can you tell us? I mean, Fable is back. We can obviously expect a RPG. It looks like that's more of a sort of a CG piece versus showing the gameplay, but what can you tell us about the new Fable?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we know this is probably at the very top of the list of things we hear from fans. I've heard from fans more than anything is we want Fable. Please make another Fable. And to put the Fable franchise and give it a completely fresh start in the hands of one of the greatest game developers in the world, and also right there in England with Playground Games, is sort of a dream come true. So we're letting them, get a fresh start with the franchise, and really, you can see it's still got the classic, British humor that's really true to the franchise. It's obviously going to be a role-playing game. We've got the best folks in the industry working on it, and today was just the reveal of the game, and we're excited to officially say Fable's coming, and we'll share more when we're ready. But this is the start of that journey.
Yeah, and that wasn't the only RPG that you guys announced. Obsidian also announced Avowed, which is something people are really excited about, a full next-gen RPG from the Obsidian team. Again, a similar kind of teaser, really just announcing the concept of it. Maybe could you talk a bit about between those two? I mean, what makes them, obviously thematically they're different, but are they both kind of similar RPGs, or how are you approaching them in terms of differentiating like the style of RPG that they are?
Yeah, I mean, I think for Obsidian, what you're really seeing is just paying off the benefits of adding them to the Xbox Game Studios team. I'm really proud of what they did with the Outer Worlds. That got nominated even for Game of the Year from the Game Awards. It was great to be able to show a new DLC for that. There's a small team of Obsidian that's created this product called Grounded, survival, open world survival game that fans are kind of loving. But we know, and we've just been quietly smiling and listening, and everyone's like, please, I loved Pillars. I love Obsidian. They're big AAA RPGs. What are they doing next? And that's what today was about, to show it's a true Obsidian RPG. They've got a lot of people working on this. This is going to be a massive AAA game. And at this point, it's about the reveal. We wanted to, less is more, we think, but you can kind of get a sense of the first person view. You get a sense of kind of where they're taking this. But this is a big bet for Obsidian. And it's great that we're being able to give them all the resources to go realize their creative vision with this game. And Obsidian always delivers. And fans that are looking for the next big RPG from Obsidian should be excited about Avowed.
One game that you did show some in-engine footage on was the next Forza, I guess, from Turn 10. Or could you explain what we saw? Because there was obviously beautiful real-time footage. And is that sort of the Forza 8 or where is it next Forza? Or can you explain kind of what we saw there?
Yeah, I mean, the Turn 10 team has 15 years of experience in the motorsport space. I mean, obviously, they have the highest rated, best-selling racing franchise in gaming. And what they're really doing with Forza Motorsport is just completely reimagining what that can be. They want to modernize it. You can see they're bringing things like ray tracing to the Forza Tech engine. They always push the limits of realism and fidelity. And for them to be, they were actually very actively involved in the design of the Xbox Series X. And you can already see an early look at how they're taking full advantage of that. That was an engine. And so we're announcing Forza Motorsport. There is no number on the end. That is intentional because this is a reimagination of what the next generation of Forza Motorsport would look like, that's built from the ground up for the future, from Turn 10, a studio that has 15 years of experience in the motorsport space. And it's a good start, but we'll be definitely showing more in the future, but hopefully fans liked what they saw today.
So that's not a this year game. It's kind of a further out type of thing, but it's new Forza?
Correct. Not this year, but we wanted to unveil it. We want to let people know it's in development and show you it running, show you it with ray tracing, show you kind of the power of Xbox Series X and engine, and then share more when we're ready.
All right. Well, as you said, you definitely unveiled a slate of a lot of first-party titles coming moving forward. And again, as we saw in the briefing, everything coming to Game Pass moving forward, and that'll be kind of the way it's done moving forward, right, Aaron? Everything will be in Game Pass from your group, first party.
Yeah, I mean, this was, to be honest, this is the first time we've ever been able to do a show where we've reached a point with Game Pass where we can say from beginning to end, every game you saw is if you're a Game Pass subscriber, every game you saw is included in your subscription, and that's pretty powerful, and you don't have to look and see, oh, is this one Game Pass, is this one not? Just sit back and enjoy from, Halo to Destiny 2, Beyond Light to Fable to everything in between. If you're a Game Pass member, you're going to get all these titles when they launch. And so that was pretty exciting. It's great to see people kind of say they thought Game Pass was the hero of the show. And that also gave every game like a sense of purpose. So there was a lot of exclusives from our first party teams. Everything past the Bungie title were all console launch exclusives from our third-party partners. So you saw a real focus on exclusive games and a focus on Game Pass as something that we know fans that are invested in the Xbox ecosystem is sort of like, this is our gift to you and all the things that you get as an Xbox fan or a Game Pass member.
A lot of people have also been wondering about Xbox Live and how that's going to relate to Game Pass. There was something online, I think, where it's like the 12-month Xbox Live might not be available or something. Can you explain to people how is that going to work moving forward? Are you phasing out Xbox Live and it'll all become Game Pass, or how will that work for consumers?
I am the games guy, so I manage our first party and third party game stuff. I'm not sure. I'm not actually up to speed on the Xbox.
Yeah,
Live.
I just think I said people are like excited about the Game Pass and they have their Xbox Live, and I think what everyone's saying is they love this one-stop solution, right? It's like, here's what I'm paying, and I'm going to get all these great games and this great experience. So as you said, I'm sure over time it will all solve itself out. But yeah, the fact that there's so many great games in Game Pass, it's really, really such an amazing value. And speaking of Game Pass, one game that was announced today for Game Pass is from a good friend of both you and I, Bungie and Destiny, and joining us now from the Bungie team, deep in his development bunker at home, is Luke Smith. Luke,
hello.
What's happening?
Good morning.
Good morning. How we doing?
I'm doing okay. It's a little woolly over here, as you can see. It's very it's a very quarantine situation here in the house. Yeah.
Well, you have a way better quarantine look than I do. You've got the dev quarantine, been hard at work for months look, Luke. That's very impressive.
I think that if I could just summon the entire Bungie team here, like everyone has probably a similar haggard, all hands on deck. It's the way I've described it is the quarantine has really changed the way we develop games, and it's like we're all in the rowboats, just grabbing the oars and trying to like get it going in the same direction. Like we've never made a game this way before. So
no, and I have to say, all these teams, what they've been able to accomplish with development, and you think of voiceover and motion capture and music recording and everything. I mean, it's just really challenging for studios to do this stuff. So yeah, Aaron, hats off to you and the whole Xbox first party group for what you guys were able to pull together for this showcase. I mean, in an amazing number of games with a lot of diversity, as you guys have been saying, both in sort of genre and style and tone across the whole thing. And even the pre-show, I mean, a lot of people were very excited about Balan and some of the other games that you guys have. And you look at, sort of those 2 hours of games, a lot of content and value coming to gamers. So, Aaron Greenberg, thanks for joining us. Great to have you with us, and congratulations on a great show. Now Luke's going to give us some Destiny dirt, right?
Oh yeah, let's just go through everything. Let's talk about where it's going to end, whatever you want. Let's do it.
Hey, well, you guys are showing gameplay. We're excited about Beyond Light and obviously coming to Game Pass. But I think everyone wants to know more about the game. You talked a bit about development. Look, everyone knows you pushed back the date a little bit to November on it, which I think is understandable given circumstances. But, you guys at your event last month, I mean, kind of outlined, here's the next 3, right? I mean, you're sort of being very clear with people about the roadmap and the plan. This one, maybe we could talk a bit about Stasis, I guess. I mean, what do you want to share? Because I think everyone knows about it and you've talked about it, but you're keeping it kind of a mysterious in terms of how, power set's going to work and whatnot. Is that deliberate, or because you guys are still experimenting, or?
No, so it's a couple of things. There's a deliberate approach that we're taking with how we're thinking about marketing and talking about the game this year. We're keeping the cards a little closer to our vest, in part because it's like the fun of playing video games, the fun of entertainment is some of that, being surprised. We do have a bunch of changes that we're making to the way that players are going to interact with wielding the darkness, and we'll probably get into that a little bit before launch. Like we always want to get feedback on that. But you talked about that event from 4 or 6 weeks ago. I time kind of flies here in the quarantine bubble. It's hard to keep track of anything. And what we're trying to do with Destiny is really let everyone out there know, like, this is, you know, Destiny 2 is an awesome game that we are completely committed to. Like, you can see, you know, that Game Pass, how Game Pass fits into this vision of that single evolving world you can play anytime, anywhere with your friends. Like, we want to be everywhere, you know, to quote Ariel, like, we want to be where the people are. You know, we have this awesome global community, and we want to keep growing it. And to close on the thing you pointed out at the top, Jeff, it's the, you know, we wanted to lay out that Beyond Light is the beginning of this new era, and it's going to continue next year with the Witch Queen and arc that we've been building toward for some time. And of course, we're heading toward, you know, a moment that, you know, we're excited about with Lightfall at the end of this, like, kind of, you know, 3 expansions.
Yeah, that's, you know, a lot of your life to devote to sort of planning out, you know, what you're going to do over the next couple of years. So how you think of it, obviously, from a content perspective and a story, you know, lore, narrative perspective, but I assume also from a gameplay perspective. So something like, you know, Stasis, tell us a bit about that. Is that something that obviously impacts the next 3 in a way, but are you thinking that far ahead of, like, how the gameplay is going to change each year?
Yes.
Or how do you map it out?
Yeah, so even with something like Stasis, like, we're going to launch kind of a bunch of the player side of the abilities for Stasis this fall. Like, the, you know, Encase, Freeze, Shatter, like that's going to enter Destiny. And then over the course of the rest of the year, we're going to continue to add more. Like, the creatures are going to gain access to it in a way that they won't have it at the start. Like, you're going to fight creatures, obviously wielding it in the beginning, but it's not going to be, you know, it's going to proliferate throughout the game, this ability to freeze, be frozen, etc. And then we look at our overall plan and we think about, you know, right now we're obviously, you know, ideating, you know, early thoughts on what players are going to get to do next. You know, that's a place where for us, we like to start thinking about it, because we're trying to make awesome, fun toys for people who've been building their Guardians for, you know, maybe 1 year, maybe 3 years, or maybe they've been with us the whole time, and it's been since, you know, 2014. So we usually start from a place of, you know, what's awesome that we can give the player.
Tell us a bit about events and in-game events. You guys experimented with doing something pretty grand. I don't know, was it 2 months ago or whenever it was. Are we going to see more live events in game? I assume that's on the roadmap, and those are really hard to do. And it was awesome that you guys were able to accomplish that. How does that factor into kind of your roadmap for Destiny from a content perspective?
So I think live events like that, like the Almighty event, was an awesome test for us. Like, what we want to do is when we're going to load up and point the guns like that at a target, we want it to be when it can be maximally impactful. Like, I don't think that's the type of thing we would do every season. Like, we certainly aren't, you know, aren't a game like Fortnite. We're not going to have Travis Scott show up in the game. Like, it's just, we're different. What we've been talking about doing is how can we make events that bring players together that are uniquely Destiny, and what are those things? And so I think over the coming years, we're going to keep evolving that as we go. Like, the tech stack's awesome. Like, it is, you know, it's a miracle. The tech stack's a miracle, and that we were able to pull it off with everyone kind of working from home. It's just an incredible testament to the team. It was awesome hearing Greenberg mention that, and you mentioned that too. Like, you know, it is no one wants to hear from anyone who makes entertainment that it's hard, but everyone who's making entertainment, it's fundamentally challenging in some way that, like, you never talk about. And then doing it in a completely new context, it's even harder. Like, the thing you're doing right now is fucking harder in ways that, you know, it's just
Oh yeah, no, our teams, and like doing this all from home, and we're all making it work. But I think you're right. The audience at home sometimes, even with all these press events, has this expectation of, like, you know, Allegra said, like, where was the wow surprise? And it's like sometimes those things were planned, and then, you know, that team couldn't get it done, and they're in another part of the world. And I think there's so many games even I know about that were going to be announced this summer that just, like, are not ready for whatever reason. And it's like, you can't blame people because they couldn't, you know, get the orchestra together to record that rousing score, you know, for the trailer or something like that. So there are a lot of things that I think people have to, you know, think about. But I wanted to ask you this before we go, like, development, you guys had to push back a couple months. Like, do you feel confident now that, like, you're able to figure it out? It's just taking a little bit longer. Is that right?
Yeah. The extra time is awesome for us and the team, and, you know, we are. I think we're gonna use it to the fullest degree that we can, and it's given us time to work a little harder on things like Stasis, and, you know, try to get that experience of playing through the Beyond Light campaign, to the place that we want it to be, and also do all of it while checking in remotely from VPNs.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's pretty fascinating what you guys have been able to do. Well, we look forward to seeing more as you develop from home there. I'm sure probably have the game right up next to you. Jumping in to figure it out. But yeah, I love that you guys have outlined the roadmap. We're excited to learn more about Beyond Light and, of course, the roadmap for Destiny, and love that you guys are showing gameplay, getting people excited, and we know you're going to have an amazing story. We saw Lance Reddick recording in his closet or whatever it was, I think, on Twitter.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? Like we've shipped a bunch of voice actors gear and stuff so they can do it, and they're just able to jump in and do awesome stuff for us. It's tremendous.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Luke from Bungie.
Thanks.
Great to have you with us. We have some more coming up for you. Tim Schafer will be joining us and other things. We're going to be right back after this. We just got to make a quick little technical switch, and we'll see you guys on the other side with a little bit more of our post show.